Well,
that's where you begin. You always begin with.
We'll start by saying that Ryan, you've not seen it.
No,
now
I've not.
this is the show that I've been waiting for all year, and you go and blow it. So cheers for that.
Why was that? Reasons.
Reasons of alcohol.
Yeah.
It's not to be encouraged. I've got to say at this point, it's just pointless, isn't it? Really.
This film and episode 4 is one 4-hour movie, to be honest.
Well, I will not say exactly how, but it does flow very nicely.
It is really good.
Yeah, it does flow very, very nicely. So the story, if you're not familiar, is that this is before the events of A New Hope. This is basically what happens in the crawl, isn't it? This is what you read about in the crawl of A New Hope. So at the beginning of the film, you've got, and this is all going to be very quickly thrown together because I've literally just seen it about half an hour ago. So you've got Mads Mikkelsen. He plays something Urso. What's his name again?
It's Galen, I think.
Galen Urso. He is part of the Empire. He's responsible. One of the people building the Death Star.
I think he's the top guy.
He's
the engineer.
He's come out of that to look after his daughter and his wife. You need to stop me if I get this wrong. Go on.
Is Lando in it?
No.
Then why am I here?
No one's forcing you. So he, and this is just sounding terrible. He might help us out here. He is looking after his daughter, who's Jyn Erso. You've got Ben Mendelsohn's guy, what's he called? Krennic, who comes and tells him he has to come back and help build the Death Star and finish it off.
They're sort of like, you need to do this. The Empire needs you, and he's sort of like, no, pretty
just
much
no. So things kick off. Jyn flees, and what do you call him? Galen goes back to the Empire, I suppose. He goes back with Krennic. I'm going to keep looking at the character names. I don't know any character names, I do apologise. And then Jyn, we meet her in the future. She's been rescued by Forrest Whitaker's Saw Gerrera. And we meet her in a prison cell. She is being taken in. She is part of the Rebel Alliance, I suppose.
It's quite interesting, though, because it's like, she's not.
No,
like,
she's a criminal, isn't she?
Yeah, she's like her own sort of rogue.
Yeah, she's the rogue one.
Yeah, you could say.
You could say. So she gets taken in. She gets given a second chance by the Rebel Alliance, who say that she could be part of this team that will find the plan for the Death Star and take them back, and hopefully defeat the Empire.
Does she rebel?
She rebel.
And I came out.
The Kingsman, the spy film with Colin Firth. Why did you put Kingsman with Rogue One?
Because it had the same sort of feeling towards it. I thought, I'm going to go in, it's not going to be great, it's just going to be, meh, it's a film. But I came out and I think it's arguably one of the best Star Wars films ever made. That's not even an exaggeration, like I think that's a fact.
Yikes. I mean, Ryan Monty, you've not seen the film, but you were excited.
I was I've been more excited for this than I was for The Force Awakens, not going to lie. Like, this is the kind of, like, down and dark, gritty, and with a feeling of, like, real, like, just defeat about it, like, and just the fact that it's taken place in the original trilogy timeline, probably the only other film where you're gonna get about this time period in probably a long time.
It's amazing.
Like with Vader back, like the most iconic villain of all time.
We'll get to Vader.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Mate,
you missed out. I'm sorry. Like, I can't even hold it in. Like, you missed out on, like,
I've heard.
The best Star Wars film I would say ever made.
That's big statement, bold.
It's not even a number. It's its own thing.
It's a Star Wars story.
It's the first of a series of anthology films, isn't it? It's like a sort of separate chapters.
It's probably given me hope for the Han Solo film to come out, to be completely honest.
Yeah. We should probably take a count of how many times we say rebel and hope, or in the film as well.
Well, I proposed the drinking game, but I think Ryan, that's the last thing Ryan needs at this stage.
I was going to say drinking game, and I think we'll see how far
that's how we got.
I'll drink water.
That's how we got to this point.
Let's do something stronger than that, because I want to see you keel
Drink
over.
responsibly, people. Let's break it down then. So, for me, the very start, I was very excited. And we saw it in IMAX as well, so it takes that bit longer to get to it because there's so many more adverts. So it's about half an hour you're waiting there going, come on, this is it, now it's going to start.
Hang on, when did you see it?
This morning, like Thursday morning.
Oh.
This is going out on Friday, but it's like Thursday morning. So I've only, to be honest, I'm upset that I need to speak about it this soon. I know you're kind of fine to talk about it because you saw it at midnight, didn't you?
Last night, like, it's sort of, I let it breathe a little bit. I came out and I went to sleep with my flatmate, and he was like, amazing, I think that's better than Force Awakens. I was like, well, they're completely, they're two different films.
I couldn't compare them.
I think they're completely two different films, but the more I think about it, it probably it's amazing. Like, it's its own thing, which I think is an achievement in itself, really.
So
considering
it's a spin-off to a spin-off.
No, it's a spin-off to A New Hope, the fourth one, the first ever one.
I wouldn't even class it as a spin-off. I would.
Well, yeah, it's like
You need to see it to understand. You'll understand once you see it, but I would say it's part of that, which I think's amazing. Like, it's got the best CGI I've ever seen as well. Like, I've got.
Well, we're gonna go through. We need to go through everything. We're gonna go through it all.
So excited.
My experience of watching it was that I was very excited. I sat down, not as excited as Ryan, because I knew that it was going to be something different to the 7 films we've had so far. It's not the same comparable level of hype, because it's a story that's already been told, ish, but not told in this sort of scale and this sort of depth. It's a story we all know we all know what happened, we don't know how it happened exactly. These are new characters. You think, what they've got to get right. They've got to get the chemistry up between this group of people who we've not met before. They've got to invent these good new characters. Everything's got to work out. They've got to sort of recapture the spirit of the old ones in their decisions. So the droid's got to be that balance of BB-8, C-3PO, R2-D2. It's got to have, something like those. Jin has got to be something like Rey in some sense. She's got to have that sort of, to latch onto her. You've got to really feel for her as a strong character. All sorts of stuff. It really has to work. And for me, the film gets going, and you've got some Jin backstory, which is fine, but you've not got much for the rest of them. And as such, I felt like I couldn't really connect to them. And has he fallen asleep?
No, I was just looking at his face. It's like, did you fell over last night?
I got dropped on my head.
Stop it. We're diverting from Star Wars.
I'm sorry. I just looked at it. Was like, I thought it was like a mug, so I was just gonna wipe it off. But
Star Wars.
Okay, come on, continue. So you've got all these different characters, lots and lots of different ones. You've got Donnie Yen, who kind of gets a little bit more than the rest. You've got Riz Ahmed gets barely anything,
which is quite strange, because he looked like the main guy. Yeah. To me, and like all the marketing for it, and he's sort of quite a big supporting character, I would say.
Massively. He's. Again, I'll get to it. So you've got all these different characters you don't really know much about. You get a tiny, tiny little bit about Diego Luna's character. Again, we've already said that they're trying to mould him in the Han Solo kind of role.
I think from the moment you meet him, the first thing I thought was they're trying to push him as a Han Solo type, but then I feel like they try to do that for quite a lot of the characters. Yeah. To be honest, probably the biggest flaw with this film is the characters, maybe.
That's my biggest problem with it.
Just because it is great, and Jin's amazing. Diego Luke, whatever his name, he's amazing as well. I think he plays Andor.
I'm still forgetting current names. He's Cassian Andor, intelligence officer.
The characters, some of them are just a little bit forgettable, and it's quite sad. Like I can't name Donnie Yen's character, and he was probably my favourite one in that as well.
He's Chirrut, and I can't imagine that I heard his name or would remember it if I hadn't just saw it on Wikipedia.
It's said, but it's just brief. Things like that. But apart from that, like, you sort of don't mind that you don't remember the characters,
because it's more about the story.
It's more about the story, and it's about what they achieved, because throughout Star Wars they never got any recognition anyways, I would suppose. So it's sort of like, for the style of it, the look, you can let that go, I would say.
Do you not think that if they are going to tell this story, which is kind of forgotten about, it's kind of just in what we've seen so far, is just sort of thrown away and said that's what happened? Do you think they not deserve a bit more time in the spotlight to get to know them, like rather than just sort of trivialise what they did, to give them a bit more of a reason why? Because they gave it to Jin, but I know you said you think Jin's great. I think she's a bit of a problem. I think Felicity Jones is a bit of a problem as well.
Do you think?
I think so. I never really. You see her in the trailer. She's got these very, catchphrasey lines. Things like "I rebel." Things like rebellion's a bit. Which she stole. That's the line that somebody says to her, and then she takes when in the big boardroom scene. I think she doesn't do much more than what you see in the trailer. I found her a bit one-dimensional.
See, I think I sort of agree with you to some degree, but I thought the biggest problem one-dimensionally, if that's even how you say it, was Forrest Whitaker's character. Yes. I think he was severely overacted.
Very much so. My first thought was Eddie Redmayne in Jupiter Ascending. I don't know what his accent was, first of all. Yeah. And very overacted.
But he's got my favourite line from the film. Yeah. Which is "Save the dream."
Save the dream.
Like, I love that. Like, honestly, the whole thing was great, but I think maybe a bit more character development would have been better. But it's like when we're talking about them getting recognition, it's like they're not the heroes of Star Wars, though.
No, I think they're the sort of unsung heroes, though. For setting off the chain of events that happened in A New Hope. I think they deserve a bit more. That is my biggest problem with the film, the characters, because I didn't get to know them. And I think with The Force Awakens, if we're going to go back to the most immediate one, you knew Rey, Finn, and Poe. You knew them all straight away. I felt very attached to them all very, very quickly.
That's probably because they used the same model for A New Hope. If that film, if we're completely honest.
True.
But you're going to spend a lot more time with those characters than you are with these ones.
Which I think is all the more reason to give them a bit more for this. I don't know, because I didn't feel invested in them as such, because I wasn't really interested in it, because they didn't really look like they were a cohesive.
They weren't a team.
Like they didn't look like a team. When you can see some people. You see those three. You see Leia and Han Solo. Or you see them on the screen together, and they look like a team. I didn't get that feeling from watching these. They just look like a sort of. I don't know if that's the idea they're going for, that they're all sort of individuals who've been thrown together. Because that's obviously what the situation is, but I mean, there has to be some kind of chemistry, particularly between Felicity Jones, Jin, and Diego Luna. But I think that was very lacking, and it was and what they did with that relationship towards the end was very forced.
Yeah, I mean, the most complicated character for me in that is Diego Luna's character, which is Andor, because I think he's just, you don't know where you quite stand with him.
No,
and I think maybe a little more development around that. You would have got to connect with him a bit more, because his first scene, you don't know if you straight away, do I trust this guy, sort of thing, really, aren't you?
Yeah, that's when the Han Solo vibes come in. You sort of like, he's even got the same sort of costume. You're thinking, he's a bit. But the thing about him is, if you see him in any like sort of press stuff, he's quite a charismatic, sort of quite a sexy, quite a guy, But in this, he doesn't really get used that. He's kind of more of a dialogue machine rather than a sort of the charismatic Han Solo.
To me,
type.
He just wants to get the job done.
Which I get.
And I think when you watch it, you sort of get the full circle at the end, and you sort of do feel like this whole experience has changed him. But I think it's quite nice to see it from the Rebels' perspective and not from like a big game changer like Rey or Luke, or Anakin. Yeah,
I was saying to Joe before, I was like, there's not gonna be many lightsabers. There's no Jedis in this. It is a rebel story.
Yeah,
it's all like sort of grassroots fighting.
Looks like real war
story. Yeah,
that's what it looks like, a real sort of war film. And the scenes in that film, I was sitting there, I was like, it looks exactly the same as say Battlefront.
Funny you should mention that. We'll go on to the good stuff now. I'll say that's the bit that I had the most problem with, the characterization and Felicity Jones. I think she didn't really sell it enough for me. She didn't have that sort of strong. That's all she had. That was her only characteristic, strong-willed. Aside from that, she did seem very, very flat and very one-dimensional.
I think, but again, I think it's too many Han Solos.
Yeah.
In the film.
Too many Han Solos spoil the broth.
And I think they either should have kept that for Andor, or gave it to Jin.
Do you think people would expect it to be Andor though, like sort of just transferring the exact same character?
Yeah,
across? People will criticise it for that reason if they did.
I completely get where you're coming from, and it's just like for those few flaws, I think the film as a whole works to fix those for you, and you don't sort of mind them. Like, I did leave, and we were obviously trying to talk about it afterwards, and I couldn't name that many people.
No,
because I just didn't. I didn't care. They don't really let you know.
No, that's my biggest problem. But I mean, I am gonna go see it again because my dad wants to see it. I'm gonna see it next week, and I am looking forward to seeing it again, because it was in the second act when it really clicked in for me.
Yeah.
Once they kind of ditched the whole I am blah 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 who I am. When it got into the big scene when they're all talking about what they're gonna do, and she's got that big speech, which I like. I like her monologue until she says the line, "Rebellions are built on hope."
Yeah.
That's the bit that takes this thing out for me. She's got this really great impassioned speech, and then it's just that little phrase that just totally lets the air out, and that's my problem with Felicity Jones. But for me, that's when I really paid attention. Can you imagine my disappointment as a big Star Wars fan for having spent about 40 minutes going, it's not really doing it? But after that, I really, really felt it.
I think for me, it was the opening sequence. When they're on that planet, when it starts off with Galen, which is Mads Mikkelsen,
yeah.
It starts off. I thought it doesn't look like any Star Wars film we've ever seen. Like the entire grade aesthetic to it was just
no crawl at the start as well, which is always a bit of like.
Well, I turned around to me, mate. I was like, "This is weird to watch a Star Wars film like this," because it starts with a galaxy far, like a long, long time ago, and a galaxy far away.
Then just boom.
And then it's like that, and it's just like, right, okay. And you see the rings on that planet, and to me they sort of look like title crawls.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I sort of made that like connection. I think they've done that purposely.
Possibly.
But yeah, like just the whole aesthetic, the grade, everything of the film, the feel of it, it's not anything we've seen before, and it probably is the most beautiful Star Wars film that has been made.
Sorry, let's get to that then. So the action scenes in particular, I would say are definitely some of the best in the entire Star Wars universe.
Donnie Yen.
Arguably some of the best you'll see in cinema at the minute.
I don't think we'll get that sort of action and that sort of choreography in episode 8 or 9. I might be wrong.
That's one thing I could not criticise the film for one bit. It's all choreographed to a T. It's sort of beautiful how the camera, especially the times when it comes out, it's very uncharacteristic of Star Wars, the things that it does. I suppose that's a testament to it not being part of the sort of numerical series, that it can do things that the series wouldn't do. That it has these big shots when you've just seen the destruction, the devastation. When the AT-AT is blown to bits, you're just like,
it's
that
crazy.
Is amazing. It's Battlefront, like you say. It's the game Battlefront. That big scene on the beach, when anything can happen, it is like proper warfare.
It's really great though to see like it from, because let's be honest, Luke, you know, Ray, they're like your top tier sort of hero.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good to see it from the bottom level and see like the cannon fodder,
Absolutely.
which is like the rebels, and some bits to me I was scared. Like I was watching it and I was looking at like people being overwhelmed and some of those explosions as well, which obviously we can't really mention. But you look at that and it's that struck fear into us. Like I was scared when I was watching it, and I thought like I've never felt like that with a Star Wars film before, and it was crazy. Like it's amazing. Like I can't vocalize it because it was so good. Like I mean, I went back and watched Star Wars Episode 7 when I got home, just to try and compare it a little bit to the newest one that they've released, and it made the aesthetic of it and the colour and the way it was shot made Episode 7 look like a TV show.
Really?
If you watch it back, like it looks fake compared to the sort of way that they've put it into this, and yeah, it's mental.
It is definitely mental. Can I say, Ryan Monty, can you stop rustling your coat, please? Sorry. Thank you.
He's laying some heat on you today.
Oh, he deserves it. Donnie Yen. We've mentioned Donnie Yen. He is my favourite part. He is the... You see it in the trailer, where it's cut differently in the trailer, but in the trailer it's when the line is, you know, rebellion's built hope, and it cuts to him and he just goes... But there's a few moments like that when he... I don't know, you feel like him when you're watching the film. You feel that sort of inspired...
I know exactly what you mean.
It's hard to kind of put away. It's also hard to say on the radio because I'm doing a lot of like sort of face and hand action here. I felt very connected to his character as that kind of just like, we can do this.
Yeah.
That's his sort of feeling for the whole thing. He's very ambitious with it. He's, you know, very optimistic for the... I
think he's your connection from
Absolutely.
Episode 3 to 4 as well.
Yeah.
Definitely 100%. I mean, the lore in this film, like... that the amount of references and the amount of backstory that they put into it as well, like I definitely think this is a film for the fans. Like Star Wars Episode 7, that's introducing a new generation to this, whereas I think if you've not seen 1, 2 and 3 and you've not seen Episode 4,
it's not a fantastic jumping in point.
You can't watch it. Like you wouldn't understand anything that's been said. You wouldn't understand any of it. I mean, they go to like the Jedi homeworld, which is mentioned in Episode 4. They talk about, like, you know, ships that have left that planet, and you don't even realise like the amount of time that they've put into connecting it to these other films, which is just amazing in itself. Like, it's so good.
I think it comes from the fact that the director Gareth Edwards is a proper Star Wars fan. Like I've seen him on shows. So on Jimmy Kimmel, he had the entire cast on, and he is a proper Star Wars nerd. And you need somebody like that who knows the story inside out to visualise the scenes, like I say, that we know about but we've not seen. To be able to put an image to that story is quite special, and especially when it matches what you see in here. It's like when a book gets adapted, and you see it on screen, and it's how you imagine it would be. I think he's done that there one thing that he has been criticised for is Vader, because in Godzilla, and it's just the same criticism. I know, Ryan, you've got a disagreement on this, Monty.
Yeah.
Right, Monty. People said that you didn't show Godzilla enough when you did Godzilla. You disagree, though, don't you?
Yeah, I think it was the perfect sort of slow reveal of Godzilla in that film. I think.
But he was an extra in his own film.
I know, but like it's sort of like paying homage to the original Godzilla, isn't it? Really, because he was sort of like that overlying, unstoppable force that just sort of pops in and out of the film when he needs to be. He's the god amongst men.
The Godzilla.
Yeah,
But
the Godzilla.
In this, and of course, it's no spoiler to say that Vader's in it because he's in the trailer. There's no.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's in it. He's in the trailer. There's no spoiler there. But so it's just I'm saying that because a lot of reviews I've seen have said it's no spoiler, but it's like it's in the trailer, so it's fine. But we can't say how much. We can't really say too much about his scenes. We can say, because everybody else has, that he has one scene of sheer horror towards the end. It's the one time he really gets to fly the Vader.
Like you watch it and you think, yeah, like it's great to see like full power.
I was wriggling in my seat. I was just like. I mean, we spoke on the show before saying, like, you know, there's been all these rewrites and stuff. They've made a lot of these rewrites saying, have they taken out scenes of Vader wrecking people?
Well, it's the way they reveal him in that scene as well, which I mean, you heard everyone in the cinema just go, whoa, like it's about to go down. Like I think it was used where he needed to be.
I think it works really well.
I think it would have been better for him to appear there and not in the way that he did before, because I think he was a little bit shoehorned into that. That's what I think the rewrites would have put that scene where you first see him, because that's about halfway through the film, isn't it? It doesn't need to be there if it's going to fit in with the, because I think Ben Mendelsohn's villain was good enough to not be a puppet for Vader, because we've seen especially in episode 7, Kylo is kind of he's more of a headstrong villain than others have been in the past, but he still a puppet to Snoke. I mean, they mimic a lot of shots from episode 7 as well. Like, you know, when you see Vader looking out the destroyer window, they mimic that straight from episode 7. So you can definitely tell that they've been looking into it. But I think that the scene where Vader first shows up, it's good to get a little bit of backlog to see where obviously he resides and how he's sort of kept. But I think it's just shoehorned in. Like it made sense, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's Darth Vader finally!" And it's great. But you just sort of like, right, what was the point?
Because then he goes away for ages, and then comes back.
And then the scene where he you know pops back in and he's just tearing stuff to bits. Like that makes sense for the story. It
would be far more impactful if that was the first thing you saw him do on screen, rather than conflict with Ben Mendelsohn, just to destroy stuff, destroy people.
Sometimes I was looking at it. I was looking at that scene where he does first show up, and although Vader is like probably one of the most iconic villains of all time, it just felt a bit silly. Like, the way he's pointing his fingers around, he's talking, because obviously you can't see his face. He's got to use his hands to sort of act. It just felt a little bit stupid. Yeah, I want to say, without anyone absolutely kicking off with me about this, but
that's what this show's for. It's all about discussion. One more thing, because we've got local music coming up. We've got the droid. We'll have to mention the droid. After you've got BB-8 in Force Awakens, which was funny without saying any actual words. It was a lot of just, the bleeps and bloops that just were so comically timed. You've got a droid now in, and I keep forgetting the name's K2SO, who is a one-liner machine.
To me, that droid is if R2-D2 had a voice.
Yeah.
That's the way I would put it down.
I've seen some people saying that the character's unnecessary and only there to sell toys, which is fair enough. I suppose you could say that. But I think he does actually bring something really good.
Yeah.
In this story where, as we've said, it's serious business getting done. This is what happens before A New Hope. You've got to think about what that means. You do still need some comic relief. You can't just have Felicity Jones going, "Oh, rebellion, rebellion, rebellion." You've got to have, and that's what she does for the whole thing, by the way. You've got to have somebody, and Alan Tudyk. I mean, he's Firefly, right? I've not seen Firefly.
Yeah.
Firefly. He's hilarious. He's got some really good liners, and it's his rapport and chemistry with Felicity Jones that's one of the best things about her performance.
It's not enough for Donnie to be the comedy relief of that film. No. And I think his voice work for that does it perfectly, because he's just like, they say, like, he's got no filter, so he just says what he thinks in it.
Yeah.
I think it helps, because let's be honest, some of the scenes and some of the dialogue is repeated quite a bit.
But it's a lot of rebellion stuff, isn't it?
And it helps break that up quite nicely.
Yeah.
Because he just says, to be honest, let's be honest, he's the kind of guy that sits there and watches Lord of the Rings and says that's unrealistic. Like, if we're completely honest, and that's the best way to describe him. Is, and it works for him just to go, well, this is stupid. Like, there's a scene where they're like, oh, if this doesn't work, we'll be stuck in space and we'll all die.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but not me. He's like, I'm a robot. And it's just like, yeah, well, fair enough. Like, he's not wrong. So he does break it up quite nicely.
I do like him. I mean, BB-8 for me can't be beaten, but that's a different story.
He definitely is. If R2-D2 had a voice, it would be K2SO.
Yes,
100%.
I like the comparison. Before we go for local music, I'll say one more thing. We can maybe continue after this. We've got some emails that have been sent in from people who've also seen it just as quickly as us. Do you think it'll be iconic? Do you think that this bunch of characters will be as iconic as the ones we've had before?
Not the characters, but the film as a whole will.
Right.
Because I think the fans, this shows what the prequels could have been. And what they
it is annoying.
never
It
will
is annoying,
be.
isn't it? While I find that this isn't perfect, it's certainly better than the other three.
If we watch 4, 5, and 6, you hear these tales of like, a Clone War and this epic battle between good and evil, and you just get trade route agreements and sand and Jar Jar. So if we'd done that, if we'd done episodes 1, 2, and 3 with the same aspect of this and the same sort of action and style, we would have got quite a gritty struggle for power between two forces, and I think that's why people are enjoying it so much, because it's what they wanted and it's what they finally got now, just unfortunately without any Jedi, which is really sad.
There's still one lightsaber though in the whole thing. There is a lightsaber.
It's red and scary.
It's red and scary. It wasn't the same sort of when we saw it on IMAX last time. Joe was buzzing about the way Kylo Ren's lightsaber crackled, just the noise it made in the IMAX cinema. It was pretty special. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, in cinemas now. Of course you're going to go see it if you've not already, and if you do get in touch. You can tweet us at LRJ Film Show or at Spark Sunderland, hashtag at Spark Film Show. You can email me, liam.milburn@sparksunderland.com. We'll open this up again next week because we'll have Dan Heppel here. He will have seen it as well. We'll talk about Passengers next week as well. We'll open the whole thing up so you get him in if we've anything we've missed that you want to argue with us about.